Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Transformation Tuesday, January 17th, and welcome to another episode of Style by Stevie. Our guest today is the owner of Savvy Events Brandz, and she's worked with some of the most great names in the industry. I'm super excited to have her here in the dollhouse. I hope you guys are doing awesome today, this Tuesday. Excuse me. Let me adjust this away from my face a little bit. But I hope you guys are doing awesome. I hope you guys love the pink. I am feeling like a pink fierce Ferrari, honey. Get into it. Make sure you guys go and check out the dress, the outfit of the day. Shout outs to Melanie Nalla, my Bridges, for making sure that we are right with makeup and everything. So without further ado, let's welcome our incredible special guest today, Savonya Macintosh, the owner of Savvy Events Brand. Okay,
Hi.
there we. Hello, hello. Welcome to the
Hi, how are
dog.
you?
I'm doing wonderful. Yourself?
I'm doing great, thank you.
It is such
Thank you for having me.
a pleasure to have you here. Welcome to the dollhouse. It's been longly anticipated. We planned this during the summer or the fall back in 2022. So
Right,
we are big
right.
have this plan in the works. All right.
Yes.
So let's get right into it. How has 2023 been for you thus far?
It's coming along, I got some good stuff in the work, so I'm happy. I can't wait to see how everything turn out. So, you know, I just take my time, just one day at a time.
Yes, only God's will. Only God's will. So
Yes.
welcome to just coming in. We are here with Savonya Macintosh. She is the owner of Savvy Events Brand. And you might know a certain actor that I've had here on the platform before by the name of Lamar, who I've interviewed in the past. He is one of her clients, and she not only does that, but she does some things with models in the fashion industry as well, too, which we'll get into throughout this interview. So,
Yeah.
Savonya, for everyone who doesn't know, tell everyone where you're from and how you got your company started.
I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. 7 years ago, me and my daughter, my oldest daughter, we just put on shows for events like MS, stuff like that. And I would do the fashion show, the artist showcase, stuff like that, and she did everything else. We did it for 3 years together, and she decided that she didn't want to do it anymore. So I branched off on my own, and in the course of all that, I didn't have a name because I worked under her. And one of my good friends that I work with, he used to call me Savvy all the time. And when I was asking him, like, what I'm gonna call my brand, and he was like Savvy, and I'm like, I don't know. And he was like, no, it fits you very well. And I'm like, no, because I really think that I'm like a tomboy. I don't see the little savvy part in me. But he would call me that all the time. So one day I just wrote it down and I kept saying it, and that's how Savvy Events Brand came about. He was the one that made my first logo, how I should spell it and everything. So shout out to him. He doesn't work with me no more, but shout out to him because he gave me my name and he really kind of pushed me to go on my own. So I've been doing it on my own for like 6 years.
Wow. Shout outs to you, girl, because when I first met you, I said, this is a boss woman.
Oh,
And yesterday we had two girl talks, and it was like an hour long. So I'm pretty sure you caught bits and
yeah,
pieces of it. So today is going to be similar as well, too. And I'm going
mm-hmm.
to ask you something as well, too, because I know you've had your challenges being a woman of color also in the business, or just being a woman in general, and being a woman in power and having your own brand. So let's get right into it. Now, Savvy Events, tell us a little bit about your brand because I've seen some stuff that you posted with models and fashion shows and things, which is what I love. I'm a fashion girl, as you can tell. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Savvy Events actually is a event planning business. So I don't really say planner, I say specialist because I specialize in
Okay.
whatever you put in front of me. I'm a specialize in that. But because as well, growing up, I love fashion, I love music, I love art, I love all these things, and I love anything that's whimsical, right? So when I first started off, it was just supposed to be just event. But because I love all of them things, I started incorporating them things in it. And with me, I just don't like to do like regular runway shows. I like to put dance into it and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes I would have artists that rap or sing and rap while we doing runway around them. You know, I thought that was different. And a friend of mine, he seen that, and now he adds that, and he hires me to add that to his show. So I want to take this on the road. Like I said, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and I want to try to do it in DC, which is 30 minutes away from me. And then if it works well, I want to continue to do it in different cities. I have a friend that lives in Atlanta, and she keeps telling me, like, you need to come down here and do a show down here.
She's not lying, because Atlanta is the Black Mecca, especially if you're trying to go forth in the fashion world.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the Bronner Brothers hair show up there is just insane.
Right.
So definitely go to Atlanta, expand and look forward into that going into the new year, because there's so many endless possibilities in the world of fashion and beauty in Atlanta. And plus you got the Housewives, all of those shows up there,
Mm-hmm.
and they love that. So definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to take up on it soon. Yes, I am.
All right, so let's get to the nits and grits, because I know being a woman, being a boss in this business, because I asked my guest Danielle, along with my guest Deja yesterday, what makes a woman a boss for you? Because you have your own company, you're already a boss. I see you as a boss, and I texted you that when I first met you, when Lamar introduced me, said, send you to my publicist. I'm going to send you to her. And I said, she's already a boss. So for you, Savonya, what makes a woman being in power a boss?
Oh, wow. To be honest, I don't look at myself as really being a boss, because I just love what I do, you know. But if I'm going to take that label as being a boss, I think empowerment and knowing what you want and going and pushing forward, you know, and having confidence in what you know and having confidence in what you don't know. Because one thing about me, if I don't know, I'm going to learn it. You know, I think also with that title and that name, you know, you have to understand that being a boss is just not about always rising to the top, because sometimes it takes a long time to get there. You got to have that patience and everything. So I just feel like being a boss for me, and if I have to label myself, as having patience and loving what you do and bringing people along with you. You know,
Yeah.
one thing, I have a model with my models, and when I do shows, I tell them, like, when we come together, we are a family. Even if you don't work for me ever again, we are a family, we are a unit. So when we together, that's how we're going to move, like one unit. So I feel like when you can express yourself to other people and loan yourself out to other people to help them get to where they're going, then that makes you a boss.
Absolutely. And especially with this business, just in general, of having your own business and being able to multitask and juggle it
Mm-hmm.
all. For the mothers out there and parents out there, you definitely know how to manage everything. Because it's a balance. I'm telling you, being able to balance family. And who was it? It was Diana Ross. Somebody asked her in an interview, and she said, how are you able of being a woman, being a mother, being an artist? She said, women, we're capable of doing it all, which we are, because
Yeah,
we're able to cover all of those things. Being a
right.
parent, being an artist, being the businesswoman, all of these things. And I look at Candy Burris, as the
Yes.
prime example, because it's, believe it or not, it is not easy, especially if
No.
you have kids out there. It was one episode of Housewives, and I'll never forget this episode, because Candy has her restaurants, she has her
Mm-hmm.
clothing store, and all of these other things. And it was one episode where she was away and she was doing a business meeting. And, you know, at the time, the pandemic was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd had her husband, had her son FaceTime her. And he just broke down crying. And Candy said, you don't get any prizes for mommy guilt. You don't get any
Right.
prizes for being away from your child. Because for the mothers out there, you understand, you want to be near the babies. You want to be able to balance it. But at the end of the day, it's like, mommy's got to get this paper. Mommy's got to hustle,
Right.
because if she doesn't hustle, then the lights won't stay on the house. You know, we won't have food to eat. We won't have clothes. All of these things, all of these necessities, especially with the price of inflation going up.
Right.
So it's
Exactly.
definitely yes.
Yeah.
But okay, let's get to the next one, Savonya, because I know you caught bits and pieces of yesterday's episode, and I wanted
Hmm.
to ask you, one black woman to another black woman. I've just been asking all of my sisters, like we're all black women, because we're fed up, we're tired of it. How do you feel about the ABW narrative being pinned on women whenever we speak out or say something business wise that, and I'll give you an example. Rest her soul, Lisa Left Eye Lopez noticed
Okay.
certain things behind the scene with the music industry. With
Hmm.
Foreshadow, we're seeing all of these artists, female predominantly, from India Ari to so many others, and speaking out and saying, wait, this doesn't sound right. Why isn't my album getting this many streams?
Right.
Streams, male counterparts are getting more pay and all of these things. Lisa predicted it before it even happened. She said, wait, this is not the right amount of money that we're making. This is what we should be making.
Right.
So she called it out. Whenever we speak out about something, we get labeled as the angry black woman. What are your thoughts on it?
Wow. So my thing is, I experience that a lot because I'm a person that speaks up a lot, and I'm also a person that don't take a lot from a lot of people. So um, if you be called the angry black woman or too emotional and things like that. And I
Yep.
really think that I really think that it's sad. I really think that people have to understand that because we carry these businesses or carry these titles with us, we're still human, at the end of the day. And in this kind of industry that we are in, sometimes we have to be a certain way because we're dealing with men with egos, men with pride, and everything like that. So sometimes we have to we have to come a certain way. I'm learning to balance myself with that. I'm trying to be forceful but not disrespectful or make anybody feel um, beneath me. But my thing is, I still need to get my point across. So it's sad that in this industry, or just period, that we as black women get labeled like that because it's not always about us being an angry black woman. It's about sometimes we feel like we're not being heard, and I feel like we really need to be heard in this industry, in life, period. I don't think that we should you know what? I don't even want to take the label as being an angry black woman. I'm going to say this. If I'm in the industry or just being a regular person and I'm saying what I need to say, it's what I mean. And if you can't understand it, then that's the problem that you have to deal with. I shouldn't have to deal with that.
And Deja said that yesterday, that we're not, I mean, if it comes down to it and we have to push and fight and let you know that, okay, I want equality too. Yes, my male counterpart, and it's still an issue because women, the pay gap issue,
Oh my God.
it has not changed.
Yes.
Men still
Yeah.
continue to make more, and women, we get paid less.
Right.
For every dollar that a man makes, a woman makes 92 cents. Did you guys know that? Because it's insane.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what position of power that you're in, what part of the pinnacle that you're in. You could be the vice president, and look at all the slack and backlash that they've given a black woman who is the vice president, Kamala Harris. It's just like,
Right.
it doesn't matter what position of power that you're in, and you're a woman, you're black, you already got two strikes against you.
Right.
Whereas our non-black female counterparts are going to get more. It's, well, yeah, they're still going to get more.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they're going to get more in general, no matter what ethnicity. But that is an issue. And I'm pretty sure a lot of women are just like, wait, they're going and they're looking at their paychecks. And you can go, it doesn't matter what place you're working at, Starbucks or wherever, you can look and you can see something, and the men are going to make more. No matter what position they're in, manager or whatever. We live in a patriarchal, Danielle said it yesterday, we live in a patriarchal society where men hold the power. And
Yep.
it's just like whenever we speak up or say something, we get labeled as a diva. Well, I don't mind being called a diva. I definitely don't, because my family calls me that. But Listen, whenever we speak up or fight for rights or say something, we get called the B word. We get called angry black woman. We get called difficult. We get called aggressive. We get called, oh, she's hard to work with. You know, you need to put a muzzle on her. You need to control her. No, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to say and call out what is wrong at the
Right.
end of the day. So that's why I've been
Absolutely.
asking black women, because it's still an issue. Yes, the rise of black-owned businesses, but when it comes to black women-owned businesses, yes, they're rising, but I want to see more rises for every black woman who has a business out there. So that's why I'm questioning and asking women this question, because I know a lot of people are like, well, why you got to speak up now? I've been speaking up, and I'm tired and fed up. I had 3 male co-hosts on this platform, girl. So, Savonya, I'm telling you, I'm like half of the time, well, Johnny gets it, DJ gets it, as well as Marco. They get it. They get why I am the way I am, because I want equality for all, for LGBT, for black women, for black men, the black collective as a whole. We
Right.
deserve to be equal. We're human too. We're all black at the end of the day. So give me the same pay. And Viola Davis said it best. If you think that I am, if you treat me like Meryl Streep, pay me like her.
Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that like in the society, because we are African American, so they say, um, we always get that stigma of that. You know, just like you just said, if I'm a white woman in the industry or wherever, even in the business, you know, you look at their pay scale and it's so much different than ours. You know, it's sad that we have to work or prove ourselves hard to show who we are, show our talents. We have to have so many degrees just to say, hey, I know how to do this. You know, they don't really look at our talent, and if we do, you know, if they do look at our talent, we still get the bare minimum. So I agree with you, and I'm right there with you. Like, I want to be on the same pay scale as my counterpart. You know, if I'm doing the same job that he's doing or doing better, why am I getting paid less and he's getting paid more? You know, even if I have 1 degree higher than him, he's still going to get paid more than I. And I feel like that is unfair. So this is why I have to be the way that I am and speak out and move the way that I do. You know, I work with a lot of good people, and sometimes most of them are men. Most of them are men. And sometimes I have to be a certain way when I'm with them so they can hear me, you know, and for the most part they do. But sometimes I feel like outside of one, sometimes I feel like they looking at me like, oh, she just a woman, she don't know. And my thing is, if you hire me to do a job, obviously you felt comfortable in hiring me, you know, so obviously I know what I'm doing. And like I said, I'm the type of person, if I don't know, for my clients or for anybody that I work with, I'm going to find out. So I'm going to be top dog when I'm working for you. I'm going to give you the same energy that I'm going to give myself when I'm doing things for myself, you know. So please treat me and pay me what I'm worth.
Hello.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna add on to that, Savannah, as well too, because it makes me think all about Cam Newton. He did an interview with, and I tell the story all the time, with this female news anchor. She was a black female news anchor, and she questioned him about a play on the foot. I don't know a whole lot about football, but she asked him, and it's just he just scoffed. He just stood there in the interview and just like, because he's got called out multiple times on do you have a hatred toward black women? He's been
Mm-hmm.
called out about that, and that clip, if you go back and you look at that clip, his body language and everything, was questioned him, asked him, it's like, well, you're a woman. You don't need to know about sport. That's what type of energy that some men in this industry give us. And this happened to me as well too, girl. I've had men that I've reached out to come on the talk show on the platform, and they just would try to gaslight my resume. Like, do you know I've sat with a lot of people on this platform, big and just up and coming in the business, and they would try to disregard my experience as a hostess on the platform. And I'm just like, well, yes, you've got a resume too, but as well as myself. Don't
Mm-hmm.
disregard. I'm asking you to come on the platform. But
Right.
they do things like that. And shout outs to
Mm-hmm.
my girl, Wiley, actually, she said, They will disregard your credits. They don't care what your credentials are. And I'll give you another example. Ketanji Brown Jackson, who is the first Black woman in the Supreme Court, we seen all the hell that they took this woman through in order to get her certified. And she had all the credentials and everything. And it's just like, certify her already. And it's the Republicans that were giving her to run around. And it's just like, what makes her not qualified for the job? And I can tell you what it is. It's because she's Black. And it's because she's a woman. Y'all are not comfortable with women in power. And I think it was Meg Thee Stallion, Hillary Clinton. They had a conversation on women being gutsy. They're not used to us being independent. They're not used to our strength. And even Lil Kim said something back in the day to the extent of, when you know you're a strong and powerful woman, you intimidate people along the way. And that can be intimidating to some men. It's just like, you're not about to come up in here and tell me what to do. But, well, it's just like, we're working together. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But if we're in different positions, you know, I can advise you on things, and it's up to you to take the advice if you don't want to. But if I'm your boss, yes, it's my job to tell you what to do. So if that makes a little bit of a B word or whatever, then I will gladly take that, because at the end of the day, I'm going to do my job and you have to do your job. And it's my job to encourage you to do the right thing along the way as your coworker and as your mentor. But some men are intimidated by strong, powerful women. And that's what I think that the issue is in 2023. It hasn't ended.
No. And you know what, to be honest, it probably won't. Because you have some, and I ain't calling people names, but you have men that's like male chauvinists, and they feel like you were saying earlier, that women cannot graduate to their level, you know. So it's like you said, who are you to tell me why you know, men been playing football for eons and whatever, and here you come along and trying to tell me how the game is supposed to be. And it's like, you have women that love football. I'm a football fan, but I'm not in love with it. But I'm going to tell you this. When I was younger, I was taught the game. And I tell this story sometimes when we had a female football team here in Baltimore called the Baltimore Brandz. And I wanted to play for them because I grew up with two brothers, and they taught me the game. I used to like watching the game with my brothers and my father, and I always wanted to play football. And my ex, you heard what I said, my ex, he was like, no, I don't want my wife playing football because I don't want her looking like a man. And I'm like, why do I have to look like a man to play football? Like, why is that? I still couldn't be feminine and play football because my place was like in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant, you know. But now you got men that's coming to us and asking us to manage them and to run their stuff, you know, to do this for us, you know. But when it comes to certain things, that's not your place. You know, stay in your place, stay in your lane. But they gotta realize, you know, they gotta realize that we as women, period, but just Black women, we carry a lot of load, not just being, going out and doing a job or being a manager or being a boss. We also got to carry a load of family, being a wife, being a sister, being a mother, all these kind of things. So we already surpassing the things. You know, this is why we can take on them tasks. It's a lot. It's a lot. So my thing is, in the workplace, in the industry, or whatever, I just want my just due. I want to be heard. I want to be appreciated, and I want to be seen.
And that has been the stigma that, I'm glad you touched on that, because that has been the stigma that has been given to women for years, is that, oh no, your place is in the bedroom and in the kitchen. And it's just like, what world are you living in, sir? And I'm
Right.
episode of Martin. Y'all know what episode I'm talking about, where he got in trouble. And Pam was watching the episode, and he said something about a woman's place being there, and the men in the audience were like, yeah, agreeing with it. And Gina said, you want to eat, you better use your feet. So that's the type of mentality that women have adapted. Like, especially shout outs to Reckless Logic for this term. It's called Black womanism, where the rise of Black women being even more independent. And we're saying, we're not tolerating this anymore. We're here, and just like you. And the job that a man can do, I'm qualified for doing it as well, too. I love you too, my brother. Shout outs to my brother, Scott Valentine. And I've had a conversation with my brother, Scott, about this as well, too. And he came on And it was one episode, I think it was season 15. And I broke down crying. He was just like, it's not my place to tell you as a man, you know, you as a woman, how you feel.
Right.
Because I was somebody, I think the interview went wrong or something, and I wanted to go perfect. And he came in and he said something. I just broke down crying because that's expected for us as Black women to be strong. And that's another thing that I wanted to touch on with you, Savonya, is the strong Black woman narrative. And you said your ex said, oh, well, I'm going to tie it into this as well, too. Your ex said, oh, well, I don't want my wife looking like a man. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a new term out here that's been coined by Moya Bailey. And you guys, make sure you look it up. It's called misogynoir. Mm-hmm. And I touched on this yesterday with Deja as well as Danielle. And they were like, I've never heard of this term. We've heard of misogyny, but there's misogynoir because you're a Black woman. And I'll give you an example. Stacey Abrams, Michelle Obama, Meg Thee Stallion, Brittany Griner, Serena Williams. These women have encountered misogynoir. For years, Michelle Obama, her birthday is today. Happy birthday, Flotus, if you ever see this. But for years of her being in the White House, the things that this woman has to have endured of being called, someone got in the comments and called her a gorilla. Mm-hmm. Somebody said, oh, her arms look too masculine. That is the thing for Black women. We can't help how we're shaped. We can't help if we're too curvy, if we have too much booty, we have too much hip. Even if you go back to the ancestors in Africa, the women in Africa were shaped a certain way. It's just the sway of a Black woman's back when we walk into a room. No. And I will never stop thinking about that clip of Janet Jackson walking on stage at the BET Awards. If you don't know about a Black woman walking into a room, you better watch that clip. If you don't know about a Black woman walking into the room, you better watch Queen Latifah walk on stage into the room. Yes. Black women are shaped in all shapes and sizes. We can't help the way we're shaped. And to see men that are in positions of power tell us we're too sexy, we need to tone down the sexiness. It's just like, well, I'm not going to tone down my Black womanness for you to make you comfortable. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do that. Men sometimes are afraid of the strength of a woman because they know that when a woman rises in purpose, you won't be able to stop her mission. Yes, brother, you told that to me as well too. And that was the episode where I was crying that day. And he says, it's not my job to tell a Black woman how to feel. She feels how she feels. And that's what Sky told me that day. So I hope that resonates with a lot of people. But that misogynoir is real in this business. Because I'm a tall girl, I'm 5'7", and they will say, oh, well, a woman is supposed to be petite and tiny. Not all the time. Mm-mm. No, there's tall girls out here, and I'll give you an example. Lisa Leslie. Mm-hmm. Lisa Leslie, she's one of my favorite female basketball players. Like, all Black women are going to be shaped the same or look the same. So when I hear men say comments like, "Oh well, you look too strong. That's a man. You're not strong enough." Yeah, we're strong to an extent, but the strong Black woman narrative can also take a toll on our mental health as well too, because people are already starting to think as women. Y'all seen The Woman King with Viola Davis? If you haven't seen it, please go see it. Powerful film. That's an example, and I think it's dangerous how some people label us as, oh, you're strong, you can tolerate. Yeah, women can tolerate a lot, but there are days when I want to be vulnerable, when I want to be held, I want to be pulled, I want to just lay in your arms and just not care and feel protected by you, my man, my husband. One day. I don't have a ring on the finger yet, girl, but yes. That's what women we want. So, Savonya, your thoughts on the strong Black woman narrative? Because Taraji P. Henson, there's a clip circulating of her even talking about it, about how Black women are expected to be, Black people as a collective, mainly Black women also, are expected to be invincible, like this warrior as the Woman King, for example.
I think one thing about what you're saying, looking at society and things that has been taking place and that has been taking that we have been going through, And the woman, way back to slavery, had to be strong. Strong for their sons, strong for their husbands because of what was going on. And we had to carry that out through generation, through generation, through generation, and through generation. I'm gonna go a little personal. I look at my family, and most of the women in my family are strong women. There were men in the house, but it was like I seen women always taking the lead, and I adapt that until I found someone that would show me like, hey, pump the brakes, calm down. It's okay, to be a certain way. But me as a woman, I love my strength. I love, being strong, but I also like being vulnerable.
Yes.
I like, like you saying, having that time to have someone to cry on their shoulders or be held. I'm a very silly acting person, so sometimes I like to, show that part of me. I think that we as Black women is expected to be strong, to have our men back no matter how they treat us, what they're going through. But when it comes to us, it's a whole totally different ball game. So they put us in this category of being strong because they need us to be strong for them. But when it's time for us to be vulnerable, then they look at us and say, once again, I'm gonna go a little personal. My ex, he has this very strong mentality, and to be with him, woo, child, it's a whole thing. And he would say things to me that would bother me because it's like, I got your back. I'm here. I'm the wife. I'm doing my wifely duties. I'm out here working, helping you, blah, 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 blah. But then when I had the moments where I needed to be vulnerable he's always telling me to man up. And I'm like, man up. So one day, no disrespect to nobody, I said to him, well, if you want me to man up, maybe you need to be with a man because I'm a woman, And just like you need me to be there when you having a bad day, I need that as well. So and I used to always call him a male chauvinist. He hated it, but I'm just like, because this is how you display, and this is what I see, and this is what I feel. Men have to really truly understand that we do have y'all back. We was created to be a helpmeet, but you have to also realize that we are vulnerable creatures. We are very, very highly sensitive. And we need to be able to feel secure to be that way. We got to show that because I don't want to walk around feeling like butchy and always got to be in control and all that kind of stuff. No, I'm a female and I'm feminine. I always call myself a tomboy only because I grew up with two brothers and I didn't like a lot of things that the girls did, but I did a lot of things that the girls did. But I know, growing up, I tapped into my feminine side, and as I'm growing as a woman, that's what I want to do. I don't want to be hard like the man. I don't want that. I need to be strong when I need to, but when I'm vulnerable, I need that as well.
And that's how dangerous the strong Black woman narrative is, because they already see POC, people of color, as a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly Black women get labeled as angry, aggressive. And we see it on reality shows as well too. And I'll give you an example. Married is a married Real Housewives of Potomac. Real Housewives of Potomac. Seen at the dinner table where three of the ladies threw a drink on Wendy, and Wendy did not retaliate. Wendy just sat there and just was like, she kept her composure. That's to be expected.
Right.
That's to be expected. Even though it's other women that did this to her, it's to be expected for women to stay in these positions, to stay calm and be reserved. And that's when I'm in that intimate, vulnerable stage, when I want to be, with my person, my significant other. A man can't expect a woman to man up if he's not willing to woman down. Meaning you're to do all things a woman has to do. And yes, women, we endure and put up with so much, our mothers. So it's like we're walking on the backs of the founding family members, the mothers, our ancestors, our great grandmothers, our great granddaughters, and so many others. we're walking on their footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
And it's everything that they have basically taught us, we have to learn. We have
Yeah.
to learn and keep it. And then break that generational cycle as well too. For
Right.
ourselves, for all of the mothers out there, you know. If you know, you know, you know. So it's just like, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that men would go out here and make comments like, oh, you need to man up. That's something you would tell your son. Something
Right.
you would tell your son. But that kind of results in toxic masculinity because it's
Mm-hmm.
dangerous to women of color, and it's dangerous to LGBT people as well, to that toxic masculinity. And that's why we're trying to break that cycle so that there can be healthy communication establishment between the woman in the household and the children in the household as well too. Don't keep that anger bottled up inside. That's a whole different conversation about anger and mental health. But it does take a toll on your mental health being labeled as a strong Black woman, because I've had men who I've interviewed on the platform and other women as well too. And they say, "Oh my God, girl, you're so strong." I said, "Yeah, this is what I've been through so much, you know."
Right.
But I say thank you, but there are days when I don't want to be strong. There are days when I just want to be vulnerable and in the moment
Yeah.
and relax and just be at peace and within myself and enjoy my femininity. I don't want to have to be like what's the show that used to come on back in the day, and I used to love it. I wish they would reboot it. Xena the Warrior Princess or the
Oh, yeah.
Woman King.
That's my
Latoya,
favorite.
listen, and she was kicking, or either what is it, Buffy, all of these female
Mm-hmm.
action figures. Yes, these women are powerful on TV, but in real life, they're mothers, they're daughters, and they're enjoying their femininity and the divine feminine.
Mm-hmm.
As our girl, Danielle Ford, who's here yesterday, talked about being in that divine feminine, embracing your sexuality. All of the things that make a woman feel like a woman when she looks in that mirror, whether it's a face with no makeup or a face with makeup. I want to enjoy those things. Those are things that make me feel beautiful, things that make me feel empowered as a woman going through
Mm-hmm.
the day. But there are days when I don't want to have to walk around like I have a chip on my shoulder and have to be strong all the time because somebody calls me strong. No, I want to be in the moment and be in the present and just embrace me, every flaw, every detail. I want to cry. I want to let down. Emotional recovery and reconstruction is necessary in the Black homes,
Yeah.
particularly Black men, because they have to learn the roots of what it means to honor Black women and their woman. Or as, again, Reckless Logic would say, that Black womaninity is what he calls it. That's what he calls it. I love me some Reckless Logic. That's a term that they coined because it's feminism and then there's Black womanism. And
Mm-hmm.
the rise of Black womanism, we've seen it all the way to the 70s, Angela Davis, Nina Simone, and in the 80s you have Grace Jones and Eartha Kitt, her birthday is today also, and Diane Carroll, all of these women who have broken barriers before us so that we
Right.
can walk in here and have the success that we have.
Right.
So, yeah, the strong Black woman narrative, erase it, leave it alone. We don't need it. Yes, we're capable of doing all of these things, but there are days when we just want to be vulnerable and in the moment and embrace. And more importantly, we're emotional creatures.
Yes, we
So
are.
I want to cry. I don't want to have to be like I'm mad at the world all the time, having to wear my guard up, have my guard up. I want just want to let down and just release. I don't want to have to be strong all the time. So the strong Black woman, the angry Black woman, and she's bitter, she's aggressive. Now I'm gonna go back to bitter, to that word bitter for a moment, because whenever they say, "Oh, well, she's mad all the time," if a woman is, as y'all will say, bitter, it's 9 times out of 10 there's some trauma there. There's some trauma,
Mm-hmm.
like Scott said, in that Black household, that emotional um, recovery, as he said. There are certain things that we definitely have to unlearn and unpack within the Black community as a whole,
Oh, yes.
because we live in a society where it is already patriarchal.
Mm-hmm.
Household is what it says, and I'm pretty sure you learned it, Savonya, growing up as well too. The man is head of the household,
Mm-hmm.
not the woman. The
Right.
woman does part. She works, she takes care of the kids as well, but the man is head of the house.
Right.
That system has to be broken. It is patriarchal, and it is not only that, but dangerous. So, yeah, in some of my past shows and episodes, y'all might have seen me go off a little bit when I was with my co-host Johnny. As God knows, when I hear people like TD Jakes, and I know my grandmother and my mom loves them, but I'm just like, some of the stuff that he says, I can't get behind. Well, a woman's place should be here. When he got up there and he said something about, I can't remember what it was. Y'all let me know if I'm right. He said something about a woman should be taken out the church. I'm like, well, wait, hold up, Pastor. Yeah, we do that enough. We got to raise kids, and you expect us to take the trash out too? We're not the maids. It works both ways. The door works both ways in this relationship. He does
Right.
his, I do my part. He
Right.
takes care of the kids. I take care of the kids. It works both ways. Both
Mm-hmm.
ways. It's not going to be just one person doing all of the work in the relationship. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It's going to work both ends
Right.
of the coin.
Well, I used to always say, my brother asked me a while ago, and he said, why is it when a relationship get to a certain standard or a certain point, or if the children are not in the home or they're older, that the woman stop doing certain things? And it's like, and I told him, I said, when you are a woman and you have a career, but then you get married and you have children, things do shift because you're focusing on your children, you're focusing on your marriage, and you're still trying to, do your career. And it's a lot of things that if I was a stay-at-home mother, wife, then yes, it might be a little different. But if I'm going out in the work world, if I'll have to tend to the children and running them here and doing this, it's just some things that's going to fall by the wayside. You're not going to get that woman you're going to have a meal every night. You're not going to always have everything that you think you should have, because if she's getting up early in the morning just like you and doing things and then got to come home and do extra stuff, then you're not going to get all that you think that you need. Now, one thing I know, when I was a stay-home mother for like a year, it kind of killed me because I was like, I can't depend on people. I need a job. But I agreed when I had my last child to stay home until she turned 1. It was like a little hard task for me. But one thing my husband could have said that, and he can attest to that, when he came home, he didn't have to worry about anything because he's out working. I'm home with the children. My task was that task right there. So he didn't have to come home, worry about the house, the children, nothing like that. By the time he came home, the children would be in bed, everything, was done. The only thing I didn't do was like on Fridays and Saturdays, I didn't cook. Like, it's fend for yourself day. But when I had to go back to work, and now I'm going out and I'm getting up, and then now I got to take the kids and I got to do this and I got to do that. You couldn't have that home cooked meal every night. Everything wasn't like the way. So now I need your help. I need you to step in and do the part that I need you to do to make this household run. And some people fail to realize that. We can't expect the Black woman or the woman, period, to have this S. I know that it's a song out there, 2 songs out there saying, I'm your superwoman. No. Thanks, Karen White, but no, I'm not. Because I'm going to say this. A friend of mine, she was talking to me about her situation, and she said, why do my husband think that the only thing that he have to do is go out and work? I go to work, I come and tend with the kids, I cook, I got to wash clothes, and he comes home and he goes upstairs and he plays his game until it's time for dinner, and he'll come down, eat his dinner, and then that's it. And it's like, no, you got to help wash them dishes. You got to help put them dishes up. You got to help with these children. If I'm doing this, then you need to do that. If you want me to take out the trash, I'll take it out today. You take it out tomorrow. If I'm cooking, you need to put the dishes up. Like, it has to be a down the middle situation. I'm sorry, I don't come from, I do come from the woman is in the kitchen, but I don't really believe in that. I can't. Like I said, if I'm
Yeah.
home and you're out working and you're taking care of all the bills, then I understand, and my duty is going to be more. I get that. But if I'm out there, so-called, like they call hustling like you, then things are going to be different.
And I always give the example of Beyonce and Jay-Z because their tax bracket is out of this world, a whole different level. And I wish I was there, but in God's timing. But one thing I could commend them for is they have children and they both are doing their part on the end. She has her brain, he has his brain, and they both are making it work. And that's how most relationships should work. It's not just going to be one person doing their part within the relationship and then the other person is just playing video games. And that's what some of these men who have that misogynistic mindset expect. Oh, she's going to take care of the house. She's going to clean up for me. She's going to do all of this. I'm just like, what planet are you living on? We're in 2023 now, and things are changing. Women are saying, okay, if I gotta work, it goes back to what T-Boz from TLC, because they caused some backlash. The fellas was in their feelings about no scrubs. But T-Boz, in an interview, who was it? I think it was Bill Mayer or somebody challenged her, and she said, we're not calling all men scrubs. We're just saying that if I got a job, you should get one. If I'm working, he should work too. You're not going to just live off of me. If I have a car, he should have his car too as well. You know, it should be both parts of the spectrum and not just, you know, the woman doing everything and the man is solution of it. No, if we're in a relationship and there's children involved, we got to make sure that we're doing the part together for our family.
Right, absolutely. Right, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's what it was about, you know, and the men were in their feelings about it, but that's all it was about. That's all the song was about, just explaining that. But yeah, those are family values. In order to make a family successful and go well and flourish, it has to work on both ends. We have to be like a unit because it's a family, you're a unit. And even my mom, she says the family that prays together,
stays together. Yeah.
we keep in touch with each other. You know, it might not be in person, but at least we text one phone call away and we have the family group chat and everything. So the cousins are one phone call away, and I'm happy for that, to be able to reach out to them. And that's what makes a unit, is being able to keep the family together. Sometimes not all things last, you know, but you got to make it work for whatever it is. So yeah. All right. Fashion Dolls, do we have any questions for my girl Savonya here? This was such a great girl talk. This is your third girl talk of this week, and I feel great. I feel like I've been talking to all of my girlfriends this week because these are conversations that our women are having, in whether it's the hair salon, whether it's, and I'm pretty sure Savonya has conversations like this with her girlfriends. I know me and my girlfriend Felicia, we talk about it on the phone sometimes. So, you know, it's those things. Women, we're tired. We're fed up. We're saying it's got to be a balance. And 2023 is definitely the year of balance, making things work for both things. Okay, we need to sit down. We need to discuss this. We need to make sure the kids have this, and we need to make sure that we're okay in this situation. Again, especially with inflation going up. So if you know, you know. Prices are going up. So y'all, if you know, things are crazy nowadays. So make sure that you guys are investing, making sure that you guys are saving. Don't be afraid to say, okay, I use coupons. Listen, if you see a deal, get those deals, because those deals come for a lifetime. I'm telling you. So make sure that you invest. Groceries are going up, gas is going up, so many things are going up, the cost of living in general. So please make sure you invest, work out a strategy, work out a plan, and write things down. I like to write things down. My father gave me this calendar that's got like a little shopping in the bottom, and then a little part where you can make notes and stuff. So find whatever works for you. Get a notepad and write down, you know, your budget. My mom even told me that. Write down little things, you know, that you think you need each thing. So create yourself a budget and a game plan. So if we don't have any questions, Fashion Dolls, I can't keep my girl Savonya, but Savonya, this is great girl talk with you. So before we let you go, is there any advice that you would give to women or young women that are watching both of us and saying, okay, if she can do it, I can do it?
What I can say is stay focused, stay true to yourself. Keep your mind on the task, and when it feels like it's going to be, you want to give up, don't. If it feels like you don't know how this thing is going to pan out, just keep doing it, especially if it's something that you love. Because at the end of the day, it's going to work for you, but you got to work it. You got to work the program. So just continue to strive. And first of all, keep faith. Keep faith in the forefront of everything. I pray all the time. It's people that drive in the car with me, but when they get in my car, the first thing I do before I turn my car on is I pray. So I pray about everything that I do, every move that I make. So just keep your faith, keep trying, keep striving, and please don't give up. Do not give up. I don't care what no one says to you. You are your biggest fan and your biggest cheerleader. Do not give up ever.
Please don't. To all young Black girls out here that are watching both of us, Savonya has her company, Savvy Entertainment. I have my platform and talk show, Style by Stevie. The success that both of us women have, you can have too, baby girl. You just stay strong and don't let anybody tell you that your worth is not enough. Your worth matters. You are a Black girl. You are here. You have a purpose. And to any brown girl watching both of us on this screen here today, whether it's via phone, tablet, or whatever, you make sure that you know that your worth matters. Every Black girl matters. And you truly are unique in your own divine way. So I hope you guys took something from this amazing conversation. Savonya gave some nuggets. I gave some nuggets. And Savonya, we got to plan another girl talk, maybe a panel with possibly
Yes.
4 women. So
Yes, I love that. Yes.
definitely. We're going to work that out. I'm going to message you about that. Because I have a
Okay.
couple girls playing in the work, and I might add you to our panel coming up in April. So we'll talk about that. Tomorrow joining me, ladies and gentlemen, we have Nathan Kenrick. He's going to be joining me tomorrow, Fashion Dolls, and I'll be seeing tomorrow at 4 on Style by Stevie. I love you all. And Savonya, let everyone know where they can follow your company.
You can follow me on Instagram at Savvy Events Brand, Savvy ET Corner, and Savvy Model Life. And you can follow me on Facebook under Savonya Macintosh. And I also want to give a really big shout out to my client, Lamar Elliott. Keep doing what you're doing, bro, because we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Don't ever give up.
He was trying to get in the interview. I sent him the interview he was trying to get in. So, Lamar, if you ever get to catch this, you will be able to catch the replay. You guys all will, because I will have it saved. And be on the lookout for the clip of the day. This was another amazing girl talk for the fresh start of the week. And I hope you all took something from it. And again, before we close out, disclaimer for the men that watch my platform, do not get in me and Savonya's DMs and say, y'all was bashing me. No, we were just explaining how, because yes, they love to do that, girl. I'm telling you. They will come and they will eat me up and they be like, well, you know how men are. Oh, why you got to do a brother like that? But I'm like, hey, as a woman, this is how I feel. And I hope you men out there get it. Not all men. Some of you get it, but the ones that didn't,
Right.
This is how we feel. We just let you know, we don't bash you on this platform, but hey, women, we got to tell it like it is. So, all right,
yeah.
Thank you, Savonya. This was such a great girl talk, and I hope you all took something away from this great conversation. Fashion Dolls. Take care, everyone.
All right.